Hey everybody, this is Rich Lawrence here from the SEGS team, and I just wrote and posted the obituary for Stanley Lieber, who's also known as Stan Lee, on the X1 Radio website where I run a streaming radio station, and I'm just here picking up my daughter from work, and I had a few minutes, and I just wanted to share a story of when I got to actually meet Stan Lee when I was a lot younger. It was back in 1989. I was working at a restaurant as a dishwasher, and I was a big comic book fan. I was literally spending a full third or to half of my weekly paycheck on comic books at one of the local newsstands. And I had never really been to a comic book convention, and I was seeing ads for a comic book convention in New York City. Never been to New York City on my own, and I thought, yeah, this would be kind of cool. I get to go, and I saw that Stan Lee was going to be one of the people there, as well as one of my favorite artists, uh, Alex Savick, who was at the time doing Web of Spider-Man. So I saved up some money. I didn't buy any comics. Saved up some money, and bought a train ticket. And I had my one cousin lived in Brooklyn, so I got a hold of him and asked if I could stay with him overnight for the weekend. And he said, "Yeah, sure, come on down." And so in the summer of 1989, I traveled from my hometown of Gloversville, New York, down to New York City via Amtrak from the train station. Which train station did I leave from? I can't remember. I think it was, yeah, the Rensselaer train station, I believe, here in Rensselaer, New York. So I got on. No, Schenectady. It was actually Schenectady, the next one up. So I went down to, so I, had my parents drop me off, and they picked me up, and I went down and I spent the weekend in New York City with my cousin, and got to go to the comic book convention at the Roosevelt Hotel, which is where New York City Comicon, last I knew, was being held until they moved it over to the Javits Center because it got so big. So I mean, I got there. I got to meet Alex Savick, which was really great. I got a commission picture, which I still have. I believe it cost me like $10 at the time, of Spider-Man. And I basically killed time just by wandering around, looking at all the different booths. I had never been there. I was just kind of taking it in, and met a guy while I was there. We just kind of became friends. We hung out for a little bit. I don't even remember his name. All I remember was that he was walking around in a sweater. He had a briefcase full of comic books that he was purchasing, and he gave me a couple of ideas of comics to buy. And I remember he was from Jamaica, Queens, but I don't remember the guy's name. I wish I did. I'd love to connect with him again, and just talk comics in general. But getting to the point of the story of remembering Stan, uh, so I was there pretty much most of the day. Stan had a panel, and I waited, and I went to the panel. I got there a little bit late, so I was way in the back. I didn't get any seat. I was standing in the back. But I got to listen to Stan and all that. And then he was taking some questions, and I got to ask Stanley a question. I asked him, because this is just after uh, Peter and Mary Jane got married, when could we expect to see, kids? And he's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, Stan's like, well, it's a good question, but I mean, we just kind of got there. So after all these years, so we're going to have to wait. So but I did get to ask Stanley a question, which was kind of cool. Which, for me, that was really intense. And afterwards, Stan was going to sign autographs. And what ended up happening was I was literally next to the table in the back where Stan was going to sit. And so I was like fourth or fifth in line to get to say hi to Stan and get his autograph. And while I was wandering around before the panel, I had found a leather bound copy of the Best of Marvel Comics, which had pretty much, I think, every single story in that. Volume one had pretty much everything, all of Stan's intros to a lot of the heroes, like like Spider-Man and Hulk and that, and stuff written by Stan and a few things that were drawn by Ditko. So I got to meet Stan there and get his autograph. But while I was waiting, Jack Kirby walked in to the convention, and he wasn't there for anything for the convention. He was just stopping by because he was saying hi to Stan. And so I actually I got the twofer. I got to meet Stan and I got to meet Jack Kirby, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Even though I didn't get Jack's autograph or anything, I was literally like 3 feet away from Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. So that was really awesome. And that's just one of the takeaway stories. It's one of my favorite stories that I can share about comic books whenever anybody asks me about comic books in general, because a lot of the people I hang with they know about comics, but they're not really into it like me. A lot of the people I hang with online are into it, obviously, but yeah, I just wanted to share that story about Stan Lee, and and that was that's one of the things I'm going to keep with me, obviously. Now that Stan has left us, he's passed away. So I think we should, in times like this, when one of our idols passes, we should remember all the good things about him, and going forward, we should try to emulate those good things. It's a perfect time to do that. So just one of the things I wanted to share. I know it's not SEGS related, but I figure he was such an influence on the world of comic books. I mean, he basically helped fuel what ended up becoming City of Heroes, in the game that we're all passionate about and trying to bring back in some fashion, whether it's the spiritual successors or us, or even anybody still trying to get NC Soft to kind of release the IP or something. But we should, I think we should cherish the time that we have with all that. And enjoy what we got. So, but yeah, that's it for this little video here. Thanks for the 6 people that watched me kind of rant a little bit and go on. And hopefully we will. This is the kind of video that happens when you're not prepared. I just kind of felt I wanted to do it, and I did it. I'm literally sitting in the car. But yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube channel here. Subscribe to our Twitter. And, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on with SEGS and everything. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen next. So, yeah. But thanks everybody for watching, and thanks everybody for checking this video out, and thanks for supporting SEGS. We appreciate it. Stay geeky, everybody.